This is described by a contemporary thinker, Lewis, in his book, The Problem of Pain, that all the human beings that history has heard of acknowledge some kind of morality. They feel towards certain proposed actions the experience expressed by the words I ought or I ought not. These experiences cannot logically be deduced from the environment and the physical experience of the man who undergoes them. You can shuffle I want and I am forced and I should be well advised and I dare not as long as you please, without getting out of them the slightest hint of ought or ought not. Attempts to resolve the moral experience into something else presuppose the very thing they're trying to explain, as when a famous psychoanalyst deduces it from prehistoric parricide. If the parricide produced a sense of guilt, that was because men felt that they ought not to have committed it. If they did not so feel, it could produce no sense of guilt. Morality is a jump. In it, man goes beyond anything that can be given in the facts of experience. And it is one characteristic too remarkable to be ignored. The moralities accepted among men may differ, though not at bottom so widely as is often acclaimed, but they all agree in prescribing a behavior which their adherents fail to practice. All men alike stand condemned, not by alien codes of ethics, but by their own, and all men therefore are conscious of guilt. This consciousness is neither a logical nor an illogical inference from the facts of experience. It is either an inexplicable illusion or its revelation. And this is basic to the statement in the sages based upon the verse in the book of Leviticus chapter 19, you should love your fellow man like yourself, I am God. Loving one's fellow man as oneself is a categorical imperative that lies within the human heart, and it demonstrates the power of God, because it shows us the voice within man of how he should attune himself to become different to that which he is. And that is why when Rabbi Akiva declared that this is the greatest principle in the Torah, then Zoma counted, no, there's a greater principle. The first verse of the 5th chapter of Genesis, which says, this is the book of man, because the Bible teaches us the study of man. When God created man, he created him in his image. What reflects the image of God within man? His conscience. The duty to love. The duty to strive towards moral perfection. This is an indication of the power of God shown within man's moral conscience. There is an avenue towards truth and reality which is adopted today, especially by many American thinkers, known as pragmatism, which says that the test of truth is not to be found so much in reason, nor to be found so much in going back to man's basic existence or his emotions or his morality. But ultimate truth is tested by whether it works in practice. And this pragmatic approach to truth is used by many philosophers of science. How in science can one demonstrate the truth of a theory? By experimenting. You can have all types of ideas of truth, but as long as experiment has not proven their validity, they may be illusions. And this concept has been developed by William James, by Peirce, by Dewey, to apply to all aspects of human experience and thought, including religion. We may say that this is a valid avenue towards finding God. As it says in the prophet Habakkuk, Tzaddik Be'emunato Yichyeh, the saint lives by his faith, which may also mean it's through living that he gains his faith. Since faith is not just something theoretical, but enters into all areas of life, if it works in practice, it proves its truth. Those who have lived a life of faith in God have often found the pragmatic test showing them truth. They have prayed and turned and trusted in God, and they have found fulfillment. They have found a greater experience, a greater dimension of life. They have found what is true inner success. They have found harmony. And so, it says in Tehillim, chapter 34, Tamu ura'u ki tov Hashem. A person can have a discussion with you about the taste of an apple. He can describe it in poetic language. He can represent it through chemical formula and symbols. But you won't really know what the taste is until you taste it in practice. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. Similarly, Tamu ura'u ki tov Hashem. A person wants to know that God really exists. Try it out. Experiment. See what the difference is between a life without faith in God and a life with faith in God. And then when you will taste it, then you will see that God is good. So it also says, Reishis chachmo yiras Hashem, in Tehillim, chapter 111. The beginning of all wisdom is an awareness of God. But it's just a concept. Seichel tav l'choloseihem. When does it make good sense, this concept? When you live it. Sitting upon the throne, exalted and lifted up.